What if the secret to living a fulfilled, successful life has been hidden in African proverbs all along, passed down by our ancestors, yet overlooked in the modern world? They may sound simple, but African proverbs carry layers of wisdom so deep, they can guide kings, heal broken hearts, and even save nations. The question is, are we still listening? Forget self-help gurus, the real-life hacks are thousands of years old. African proverbs, short, sharp, and unforgettable, hold secrets to living a powerful life. They're not just words, they're ancient codes for survival, love, and success. Listen carefully, because these proverbs might just change how you see the world. Forget self-help gurus, the real-life hacks are thousands of years old. African proverbs, whispered from the lips of elders, sung by griots, and carved into memory through stories, are more than just sayings. They are distilled wisdom, sharpened through centuries of experience, survival, and observation. Every proverb carries within it the echoes of ancestors, the heartbeat of community, and the guidance of spirits who walked before us. They are not just words, they are maps of life, codes for living, and mirrors reflecting truth. African proverbs hold a striking power because of their simplicity. A single line can capture an entire philosophy. Consider the Swahili saying, "Wisdom is like a baobab tree, no one individual can embrace it." In just a few words, it reminds us of the limits of individual knowledge and the importance of community. Another Igbo proverb teaches, "A man who refuses to travel thinks his mother is the best cook." Here, wisdom on perspective and humility is folded into an image as common as food. Each proverb is a parable in miniature, a philosophy dressed in the language of everyday life. What makes these proverbs extraordinary is how they transcend time. A proverb spoken hundreds of years ago in a village market still rings true in the boardroom of today. When the Akan say, "The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth," they are not merely describing family dynamics but warning us of neglect, alienation, and the dangers of ignoring the vulnerable. What appears local and cultural quickly becomes universal and timeless. This hidden power lies also in the way proverbs work as memory devices. In societies where writing was not always the main form of record-keeping, proverbs were coded knowledge that could be carried in the mind. They were easy to remember, easy to repeat, and hard to forget. They became the building blocks of moral education, conflict resolution, and even governance. From the marketplaces of Timbuktu to the councils of the Ashanti, proverbs settled disputes and guided judgment. A proverb was not an opinion, it was truth with authority. As we begin this journey into the world of African proverbs, ask yourself, how much of your life has been shaped by wisdom passed down, and how much have you missed by ignoring it? The proverbs of Africa are more than heritage, they are survival strategies, love letters, and warning signs all rolled into one. By exploring them, we uncover not just how Africans lived, but how all of us can live better today. Let's take a look at 10 short but powerful Igbo proverbs. Unity is strength. Let the hawk perch, and let the eagle perch. An indigent does not take the title of one who does whatever he puts his hand to. Time waits for no one. The hand that points to the eye of a deity is not the hand of its worshipper. A child carried on the back does not know the length of the journey. A cow that sees something rushes to it. If a snake fails to show its venom, children will use it to tie firewood. Bean cake oil is sweet, he who tastes should allow others to have a taste. Who knows how water entered the pumpkin stem?
Tell the story, pass it on. Wisdom lives, though kings are gone.
In Africa, proverbs were never written in dusty books or locked away in libraries. They lived in the breath of people, carried across generations by memory and voice. This is the heart of oral tradition, the sacred thread that wove families, clans, and nations together. Elders, griots, and storytellers became living libraries, preserving not only history but also morality, values, and communal identity. A single proverb, dropped at the right moment in a story, could teach a lesson far deeper than any lecture. The griots of West Africa, often called the memory of the people, were masters of this art. With drums, songs, and rhythmic speech, they embedded proverbs into epic tales of kings and warriors. In the Ashanti courts, proverbs were used like weapons of persuasion, spoken with precision to sway chiefs and settle disputes. In the villages of the Igbo, an elder's authority was not measured by his wealth or power but by his mastery of proverbs. As the Igbo say, proverbs are the palm oil with which words are eaten. Without them, speech was considered bland, unseasoned, and powerless. Proverbs were also woven into everyday life. Mothers sang them into lullabies, fathers taught them while farming the land, youths learned them during initiation rites. They were everywhere, in greetings, in market bargains, in marriage negotiations, and even in funerals. When a Yoruba elder said, "One does not throw stones where one has kept his pot of water," it was more than advice, it was a reminder to protect what sustains life, be it relationships, community, or nature. These sayings were education wrapped in poetry, laws hidden in metaphors. Oral traditions made sure that even in the absence of writing, nothing was lost. Knowledge flowed from the lips of one generation to the ears of the next. This created resilience. Even when colonizers attempted to erase cultures, the wisdom of proverbs survived. They could not be burned like books or silenced like speeches, they lived in the people themselves. That is why today, across Africa and its diaspora, these proverbs still echo. A line spoken centuries ago under a baobab tree can still inspire a child in Lagos, a student in Nairobi, or a leader in Johannesburg. The roots of African wisdom remind us that knowledge is not just what we record, but what we live, breathe, and pass on. In every proverb lies the voice of countless ancestors. To listen to them is to sit at the world's oldest classroom, a classroom without walls, chalkboards, or diplomas, but one that teaches with unforgettable clarity. African life was built on survival, resilience, and harmony with community. This reality birthed proverbs that served as guiding principles, short but powerful reminders that no challenge was insurmountable and no person stood alone. These sayings offered everyday Africans a compass, pointing toward patience, endurance, and collective responsibility. They were the invisible laws that kept societies balanced, even in the face of drought, conflict, or uncertainty. Take, for instance, the Yoruba proverb, "However long the night, the dawn will break." It is a masterclass in patience and hope. Life's darkest struggles are not permanent, and endurance is its own form of strength. In the same spirit, the Swahili remind us, patience attracts happiness, it brings near that which is far. These sayings were more than moral lessons. They were survival strategies for farmers awaiting harvests, warriors enduring battles, and families overcoming loss. They instilled faith that time itself was an ally, not an enemy. Resilience was equally emphasized. The Igbo say, "He who refuses to endure will not live to enjoy." This speaks to the reality that success often comes after hardship, and greatness after struggle. In African societies, where adversity was part of daily life, resilience was not optional, it was a lifeline. The Akan of Ghana also remind us, when the root of the tree decays, the branches die too. Here, the call is not only to endure but to strengthen foundations, whether in family, morals, or community, because resilience begins at the root. Perhaps the most profound theme in African proverbs is community. Individualism was never the core, interdependence was. The Bantu philosophy of Ubuntu, "I am because we are," is echoed in countless proverbs. The Zulus say, "A person is a person through other people." The Shona of Zimbabwe teach, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." These words guided everything from child rearing to conflict resolution. They reminded people that the strength of one depended on the strength of all. In these proverbs, we discover life's blueprint: endure hardship with patience, rise from struggles with resilience, and walk life's journey with community. Modern life, with its focus on speed, self, and shortcuts, often forgets these truths. Yet, the wisdom of Africa whispers across time: success is sweeter when shared, healing comes through unity, and patience is not weakness, it is power in disguise. Love, family, and leadership have always been central pillars of African life, and Proverbs provided the wisdom to sustain them. In matters of love and relationships, Proverbs carry deep lessons about trust, respect, and endurance. The Swahili say, "Love is like a cough, it cannot be hidden." This acknowledges the undeniable presence of true affection, while the Akan remind us, "The one who loves you with your dirt." Here, love is not about perfection but acceptance. These proverbs gave couples and families a framework for enduring bonds built on honesty and patience. In leadership, African societies turned to proverbs as a compass for justice and responsibility. The Yoruba taught, "The child who washes his hands can eat with kings." A reminder that discipline, respect, and effort could elevate anyone, regardless of birth. The Igbo warned leaders with this: "A leader who does not take advice is not a leader." Proverbs like these held chiefs, elders, and kings accountable, ensuring they led with humility, fairness, and wisdom. They were not just sayings but tools of governance, quoted in councils and debates to anchor truth above ego. Proverbs also taught the importance of legacy, of planting seeds for the future. The Shona say, "The axe forgets, the tree remembers." A haunting reminder that actions, whether just or unjust, leave lasting marks beyond one's lifetime. The Akan echo this with, "A man is not dead until he is forgotten." In African tradition, legacy was measured not in material wealth but in the impact of one's deeds, kindness, and wisdom on others. Proverbs thus urged every individual to live with awareness that their actions ripple across generations. Even in conflicts, Proverbs steered communities toward harmony and foresight. The Zulu say, "When the elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers." leaders understood that their quarrels had consequences for the people. This encouraged diplomacy and restraint. Similarly, the Somalis say, "When a man is loved, he is never poor." A reminder that wealth is not merely possessions, but the goodwill and affection of others, an eternal wealth that outlasts riches. Through these sayings, Africans learned that love was more than romance, leadership was more than authority, and legacy was more than memory. They revealed that to live well was to care for others, to guide with fairness, and to leave behind a world better than one found it. Proverbs transformed daily choices into timeless legacies, ensuring that even long after death, one's wisdom would continue to walk the earth through words spoken by others. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, it is easy to assume that ancient wisdom has little to offer. Yet African proverbs remain startlingly relevant, because they speak to the human condition, something that technology, money, or fame cannot erase. The same truths that guided farmers, warriors, and chiefs centuries ago can still guide CEOs, parents, students, and activists today. When the Akan say, "Wisdom is like fire," people take it from others, it echoes the modern idea of shared knowledge and mentorship in workplaces and communities. Proverbs are especially powerful in addressing modern crises of identity and disconnection. Social media encourages comparison, but the Igbo proverb, "If one finger brings oil, it soils the others," reminds us that individual actions affect the whole. In an age of global warming, the wisdom of, "We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children," resonates like never before. African proverbs, though born in villages, have global answers for modern problems. They call us back to accountability, humility, and foresight. The relevance of African proverbs also lies in their timeless approach to relationships. In an era where love is often reduced to swipes and screens, the Swahili proverb, "Unity is strength, division is weakness," still teaches us the power of togetherness, whether in marriage, friendship, or global cooperation. In leadership, where corruption and ego often overshadow service, the Yoruba proverb, "The king belongs to the people, not the people to the king," rings like a call for democratic accountability. These lessons are as urgent today as they were centuries ago. Moreover, proverbs bridge generations. In African households, children once learned wisdom at the fireside. Today, they can learn the same lessons through conversations, classrooms, and yes, even videos like this one. The form may change, but the essence remains. In a fractured world searching for meaning, African proverbs provide a spiritual compass, guiding us back to community, patience, resilience, and integrity. They remind us that wisdom is not about complexity, but about clarity. The enduring relevance of African proverbs is proof that truth does not expire. They are the living voice of ancestors, echoing into the present to prepare us for the future. As long as humanity faces challenges of love, leadership, justice, and survival, these proverbs will never lose their power. They are not relics of the past but roadmaps for tomorrow, waiting for anyone willing to listen, learn, and live by them. African proverbs are not just echoes of the past, they are living flames lighting the path of our present and future. Each saying carries the power to heal, to guide, and to transform, if only we pause long enough to listen. In their simplicity lies a brilliance that no modern self-help manual can match. These words are gifts from our ancestors, meant to shape how we love, lead, and live. If this wisdom has inspired you today, don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep the fire of African wisdom alive.